In this video, I want to share 5 tips from me to you about how to better pass listening section of TOEFL test. So tip number 1, preparation is the key. Remember I told you about podcast. Try to listen short podcasts around 2 to 3 minutes that has got the topic or the problem and has got some information how to solve this problem or some specific information details about the topic. Tip number 2, write during listening, but don't lose the track of the conversation. This is the very important skill that I really advise you to develop, is while you listen to the audio, while you listen to the conversation or the lecture, try to write as much as you can, but please don't lose the track, don't lose the main ideas that are still being spoken in the audio. Tip number 3, as I've told you before, when I had the question types that required me to listen to discussion between man and a woman, I already prepared my paper for it. So what I recommend you to do is prepare before listening. Try to separate your piece of paper into parts, right, man and a woman, so that you already write in the right place, so you don't have to actually think about, oh, this was said by a man or this was said by a woman. You already have all the answers. Tip number 4, don't pay attention to numbers, pay attention to the stages of different process. This is very important in the topics about art or about just humankind, where there is different stages of the process. So while the numbers are not important, the differences between each stage to another one is very important, and a lot of the questions are actually based on these differences. And this leads us to the next 5th tip about passing listening section, which is details are not as important as main ideas, but sometimes the questions are about these details. So as I've told you before, many questions are based on differences between the stages or based on some facts. As I've told you before, I have got 5 tips for you on how to prepare and pass effectively TOEFL listening section. First of all, preparation is the key. Listen a lot of materials. Topics must be short. They have to have a topic or a problem. Tip number 2, listen to the audio. Try writing during listening, but don't lose the track of the conversation. Tip number 3, prepare before listening. Tip number 4, don't pay attention to numbers. Pay attention to details and differences between the stages, if there are some stages of the process. Tip number 5, details are not as important as main ideas, but sometimes the questions are based exactly on these details. So this is everything I have for you in this video. Let's go to the types of questions that you can expect in TOEFL listening section.